Hello and welcome to this video. I'm Dave. If you watch my videos, you'll know that I recently bought another engine for my Fiesta just to mess around with, tune up, try some different ideas, etc. Yeah, so today I'm going to start stripping a few bits off. I got the engine and box complete, so I'm going to start taking the starter motor, the box off. We'll see how far we get. Yeah, so I just had a quick look at the 3 starter bolts. This engine's been stuck for 12 years, though it still does turn over. It's out of a crashed car. The car was only about 9 years old. The lad I got it, I've said he's been turning the engine over by hand when he's gone in the barn. And so obviously we're going to have quite a few seized bolts. One of the starter ones is very tight. And what you do, if you're used to undoing lots of bolts, spannering like I am, and I'm not saying I won't snap this, but what you do is once you've cracked it off, if you wind it out of it, and you'll feel it start to knit, go past slightly, and wind it back in, just keep working it, and we might get it out without snapping it. If it snaps, it's not the end of the world. Not today, it isn't anyway. And the other problem is because it's a steel bolt going through into alloy and they corrode together. Yes, I've managed to get this one out eventually. It is, like I said, the alloy and the steel that's caused it to corrode together. Also off camera I got the starter wires off. They were slightly rusted on the nuts holding that on too. I've got 2 more here that are sort of loose, so we'll give it a go with this and see what happens. There's one. I think this is the final starter one. Oh, that one. Thought that one had snapped. No. Right, so now the starter should come off, but I think I'm going to have to go and get a hammer. Right, I'm back with some hammers. There we go. The starter that's been in there for 12 years. Whether or not it'll work, I don't know. Spin in there. I can test that on the battery at some point. Yeah, so with the starter, if we look in this hole here, we can clearly see the threads are worn. So if the starter does work, I'll have to re-tap those. On the side we have the solenoid. These were the 2 nuts that I said were rusted on that were holding the main wires on for the starter. And I'll have to check these wires up to use. Not too worn or frayed or likely to snap, etc. Just got it jacked up on the highest quickly while I undo. There's about 3 or 4 bolts underneath, but please be careful if you do something like this, because be aware if this is only like a jack. Now if that drops, basically you're buggered. So keep yourself clear. I don't know if you can see me, but I'm sure you can hear me. Just gently letting it down as I've got the 3 bolts out from underneath. Right, so I've moved the yellow strap so it's only around the engine now, whereas before it was around the gearbox as well. We're on a block of wood under the sump, but not under the box. And I'm going to see if the box will split away from the engine now, which it should do in theory. Right, so I'm back on camera. I removed this half of the drive shaft from down this side behind the engine. And I've blocked the gearbox off with a shorter end cup that I had in my shed. And I've been messing around. There's a couple of dowels on each side. This one was stuck in, so I've been giving the slight little tap on a copper hammer, putting my bar in, and anyway, I think we're ready now. Yeah, one gearbox off. A bit mucky in there. Yeah, so it's a bit mucky in there. I'll have to give the bell housing a clean up. The release bearing feels a bit stiff, a bit seized. It does turn slightly, but I wouldn't be reusing that anyway. This is the cup I put in. I did have the this was in, and I was going to pull the box out with that in, and then I realised where it sat in here there's a lip and it wouldn't come back this way, so we had a little bit of oil come out, but it doesn't matter, I wouldn't be reusing that oil. So yeah, got the engine and box split, which is basically for easier storage for now, and it's the engine that I'm going to be concentrating on rebuilding. So I'm just messing about, taking a few bits off now. Probably take the alternator off, power steering pump. This is the brake servo pipe, vacuum pipe goes to the brake servo this end. A lot of people struggle to get it out at this end, the inlet manifold end. So there's a small clip here, plastic, that goes all the way around the vacuum pipe. Get a small flat bladed screwdriver, push the clip in with your screwdriver, not in between it, just push your clip in and pull the pipe out. Yeah, so I've got a couple of bits off, the belt off obviously, the power steering pump, which is actually different to mine. This one was front mounted here, whereas mine had the aircon there. It doesn't anymore, I've removed the aircon. This is the area that we fit superchargers if we fit them to these engines. The alternator, I don't know if it works, but that's off. The bracket for the standard catalytic converter that goes on the back of the engine. I'm quite impressed with this part. This is where my power steering pump is, but quite impressed that I've got this part if I ever need it. If I remove the power steering or change where the power steering is. And just to show you, it does turn over. I don't know if it runs obviously, but it turns over and it feels like it's got compression. And so I've took this off now. This is actually the belt tensioner pulley. When you put your 13mm spanner socket on there and move it, it slackens the belt off so you can get it off. Like I say, it was bolted there, those 3 bolts. That's where my power steering pump bolts. The pattern on the engine block is the same. Yes, I'm also impressed on this that I've got the fuel connection here. The fuel pipe is cut there, but on mine, this is stuck solid. I can't get it off at all. So if I ever have to remove the cam cover, I have to take the whole fuel rail off on mine so that I can get this off. So that's good. Right, so I'm attempting to take the inlet manifold off. The only problem we have is this bolt here is going to snap. Now I'd rather it didn't snap flush with there. So what I wanted to do was get my grinder in to chop this off and I can pull the inlet off. To do that, I need to take the thermostat housing off. It has 4 bolts. I've got 3 of them out. They're 8mm. This one is 8mm. Those 2 I had to bang a 7mm socket on. There's one stuck up there, but even with the 7mm socket on, it's just slipping. So that's where we're at the moment. Yes, I got the inlet manifold off. Also, the dipstick screw was stuck. That was a Phillips screw. I couldn't get that to come undone, so I had to chop that off with the grinder, and I ground the head of that bolt off. So what I'm hoping is that I can heat this up and get this out without it snapping off in there. I've damaged the thermostat housing, but I'm not bothered about that. You can buy them for about £7 or £8 because I couldn't get in to get that bolt off. And for the dipstick, that bracket was an L-shaped. I just got my mole grips, bent it flat so I could get in with the grinder. And there we go. Got that one out that was in here for the inlet manifold. Also got this one out that was in here for the thermostat housing. The thermostat housing is no good now, obviously, doesn't matter. Used my map gas just to put a bit of heat on this one, not too much because we're going against aluminium, but I did enough to get it out. I might have to tap that before I put a fresh bolt in. I took the crankcase breather off because it's plastic. I didn't want to melt it, and I don't know how good the camera's showing in there, but that looks very clean in there, as does what you can see of the back of the crankcase breather, which is a good sign for a low mileage engine. Yeah, so now I'm going to take the exhaust manifold off. Got some, I've got my gas, if these are a bit tight. When I took this off my Fiesta to put the Sportex one on, these were very tight. Well, that one. Well, the top three, sorry, because that one's loose, we're okay. It's just getting a socket in here. It took me ages on my car. I think I might get a spanner actually. Got a spanner and a bar, cracked these two off. So all of these should come out now. So there's the exhaust manifold off. The cat went on there. I didn't get the cat. And the gasket. I'm just basically taking all the auxiliaries off at the moment, because as I've said, the first bit I'm going to rebuild for my engine, for my car, is the head. I'll take the clutch off next. So I don't have a flywheel locking tool. I could put a bar through there, but what I found is, if I do that, it's not loosening the bolt, it's just turning, but if I just give it a quick, there we go. And there's the clutch off. This is the clutch plate. I've just wrote with my marker pen on there flywheel, because normally it says flywheel side, just so that I don't get muddled up, because this one isn't stamped. And to be honest, this clutch plate looks rather good, apart from, I'll zoom in with the camera in a minute, there's two bits there, looks like it's been chipped, or I don't know. the clutch pressure plate. It looks slightly worn there where the bearing's been against it, but that could be okay. Looks okay on the inside. And the flywheel's looking okay. Yeah, so I've wrote flywheel with my marker pen just so I don't get muddled up there. And on the other side there was a couple of marks. I don't think I can zoom in very well with the material this is made out of. There and there. But basically I want this off so I can measure it, measure the diameter, count the splines so I can get myself a paddle clutch. This way I know I'm definitely getting the correct size paddle clutch. So it started peeing it down, but I'm going to bring this video to an end now anyway. Yeah, so I'll start a fresh video on this engine when I do some more work to it. It might be a while. I'm going to get myself some parts together. I'm going to try and get some stuff to make an inlet manifold. And then if I decide on cams or NOS or supercharger, I need to get some money together to get those parts as well. So thank you for watching. If you enjoy my videos, thumbs up. If not, thumbs down. Please subscribe to see new videos coming in.